Hi, welcome to Teen Pride Book Talks. This is the program on AADL TV where I take a few minutes each episode to tell you about a young adult book that is both inclusive of and representative of folks in the LGBTQIA plus community. The book that I would like to share with you today is called Things We Couldn't Say by J. Coles. This is J. Coles' second book, and this book features Giovanni, Gio. He is a high school junior. He's on the basketball team. He loves making playlists. He is also a bisexual Black boy, and that is representation that J. Coles really wanted to feature in his book. It was important for him to have that Black boy representation, both in the story and also on the cover. This is a beautiful and very captivating cover of this book. I love the red and the gold, but here we have Gio right front and center. So Giovanni, high school junior, he struggles with his father's drinking problem and his father's rigid expectations for him. His father is the pastor of a local church. Gio's mother abandoned him and his younger brother when Gio was about 8 years old. And he has a lot of residual trauma from this. He experiences anxiety and depression and some PTSD and abandonment issues. And in this book, right at the beginning, his estranged mother, resurfaces. And this brings up a lot of those feelings for Gio again. He has two best friends, Aisha and Ollie. And Aisha's Black like Gio. Ollie is white. And in this book, there's a new boy that moves into Gio's neighborhood named David. Gio is surprised that David has moved into his neighborhood. He lives in a mostly Black area, and David is white. David is also on the basketball team, and David is also bisexual like Gio. He is much more out with his bisexuality than Gio is. Gio has told his friends Ollie and Aisha that he's bi, and his parents know. His father doesn't really accept this. This doesn't really align with what his father believes. But Gio's stepmother, Karina, is very supportive of Gio in his bisexuality and in many other ways. She is a wonderful character. She's very nurturing. She's very caring. And she's really stepped into the role of mother for these two boys. She's also always available to listen to Gio, and she encourages Gio to really be true to himself, which is a very important underlying message in this book. Part of this being true to yourself message comes across in this coming of age story. It's multifaceted. Gio has to decide who he is on many levels. With his relationship with David and his bisexuality, he has to decide, how does he want this to progress? How comfortable is he with coming out further to more people in the school? And does he want to be in this kind of relationship? David definitely makes some missteps along the way. One thing that's interesting is because Gio is Black and David is white, there's a lot in Gio's life that David doesn't necessarily understand. Situations that he's willing to put himself in and risks he's willing to take that would mean different things for Gio. And that is something that David has to learn. And it takes him a little bit to catch on to that they don't have the same experiences. Just because they're both bisexual high school juniors doesn't mean that they're following the same path. And race is a piece of that that's pretty significant in directing the choices that they make, along with the piece of the story that is about bisexuality and is about really coming out. And as I said before, Gio is struggling with whether to come out to more people. He's not sure what his comfort level is there. That's important because David wishes that Gio would hold his hand in public and display affection, but he doesn't force Giovanni's hand in coming out. So this intersectional marginalization that's featured here is in part the bisexuality, but then also the race. And there are some areas of explicit racism. There's a store manager who is very aggressively anti-Black, and that is one place where David becomes aware of how he and Gio are treated very differently in the world. Then there's also examples of some microaggressions. Gio has a teacher who is this older white woman who is well-meaning and is nice, but is also insistent on not questioning the curriculum and wants to penalize, in a way, Gio through his grades if he doesn't participate in certain projects. Gio pushes back. They're reading To Kill a Mockingbird, and he wonders why this is the text that they're choosing. And he wonders if they're going to talk about the racism in it, or if it's just going to be another book, another piece of American literature that's held up as being this pinnacle of the story that should be told. And I liked that piece of this book a lot because I know that that book is on a lot of high school curriculums. And I thought it was interesting to be reading a young adult book that had such strong representation, talking about a book that a lot of young adults are forced to read. So that was a very interesting little twist. On top of all of this, on top of his blooming relationship and his struggles with his teacher, Gio also has this problem of his mother, his estranged mother, coming back into his life. She's decided she's ready to see him again. He doesn't know why she left. He thinks it had to do with him and his brother and his father's behavior. And he does find out from her as he reconnects with her the real reason why she left. And that helps him to understand her a little bit better, but he still has to make the choice of whether or not he's going to allow her back into his life. She's been gone for a long time, and he is just working through getting over the trauma of her leaving. That question is an important one in this book. What is Gio's motivation for bringing his mother back into his life? Does he do this out of obligation? Is he willing to open himself up to disappointment again? Or does he truly love her and want to have her in his life? Ultimately, this book is about how you choose to surround yourself with people who support you. Whether those roles are filled traditionally by parents and family, or it's friends, step family, romantic relationships, all of those things are going to help you be true to who you are. And that's the coming of age piece that's important for Gio in this book. It has some really heartfelt moments that are intertwined with these important themes, racism and the problematic literature and the way it's taught, and family, your born family, your found family, LGBT identity and friendship. There are playlists throughout the book because music is such a big part of Gio's life, and making playlists is sort of something that he does to calm himself, to refocus, to bring him into himself. In the way that some people would write in a diary or a journal or make a piece of art, what Gio makes are playlists. And those playlists are included in this book, and that's a really fun element of it. You could choose to listen to the music that Gio puts together for you. Another facet that I enjoyed about this book that made characters like Gio and David so real to me is that the characters are not perfect. There's nobody who's perfect in this book. Gio's friendship with Ollie and Aisha falters at times. Gio and David, as I said before, have some missteps. Gio's mother is obviously a problematic character. She left, she abandoned Gio as far as he sees it, and she comes back. And along with these flawed characters, there are realistic portrayals of difficult times. Gio, though he has good friends, though he's in this new relationship, he does suffer from depression. He does suffer from anxiety. And the parts of the book that described it really well. I felt that you really got a sense of being inside Gio's head at that time and really felt how oppressive those feelings were for him. Flawed characters and difficult situations aside, this book does have a wonderful message of support and figuring out who you are and being true to yourself, and then finding people who allow you to be true to yourself and encourage you to be true to yourself. I really liked the characters in this book because they were so real, and I think that that's what made it such a great read for me. I think, again, that the representation of having this bisexual Black boy is very important. That's not a character that you see a lot in young adult books, and hopefully start to see it more. And you'll have a lot of fun if you choose to investigate those playlists a little bit further. So that is Things We Couldn't Say by J. Coles. Thanks for joining me.